Welcome to Does the Team Think? Hello, I'm Vic Reeves and welcome to Does the Team Think, where I invite four sparkling dynamos from the world of leisure and recreation to answer questions posed by our audience of workmen and housewives. So let's meet our guests first. Scrape the fluff from your ears, it's Noddy Holder. It's Mr. Dog Detergent himself, Rhod Gilbert. And with his inflatable eyes, Marcus Brigstocke. And finally, hoist the net, it's Liza Tarbuck. And let's take the first question from... Who's that? It's the gentleman there drooling into his bouquet. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, team. My name's Stephen. If the team were to have a really good night in, how would they like to spend their time?
If the team were to have a good night in, how would they like to spend their time? Well, I very rarely go out unless I have to go out and collect more owl meat. But I stay in all the time, and what I generally do is just dig that channel that I'm trying to dig to the centre of the earth. Just keep working at that. What do you do, Lisa?
In all honesty, I prefer, for a good night in, I've kind of had to been out to really appreciate it, if you know what I mean. And a bottle of red and a box set of something. At the moment, it's The Wire, a box set, a DVD. A box set.
You've lost me there.
Just DVDs, etc. And the leisure of being able to watch them as you want.
Digital DVDs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my kind of night in.
Noddy, what do you do on a night in?
Well, usually Saturday nights is my night in, because I spent so long on the road, and then I had my own radio show on Saturday nights for about 15 years. So now's the sort of first time I've been on Saturday night. So I usually now watch Strictly Come Dancing with the family.
So you stay in and listen to yourself?
I don't stay in and listen to myself. I would do if I was on the radio on Saturday nights. I would listen to myself as well.
Strictly Come Dancing.
Strictly Come Dancing, yeah. And my little lad, well, he's 14, so he's not so little, but he's actually written lyrics to the theme tune with all the dancers' names in it. So he goes through that every Saturday.
Could you repeat?
And we have a Vindaloo. I have to have a Vindaloo every Saturday. It keeps me regular, see. It's my laxative for the week at my age. I have to have something regular. So that's my Saturday night.
Sounds good. I think it's a bit too formal saying it's Strictly. I think it should be Faintly Come Dancing. Marcus, what do you do on a night in?
Ideally, I'd like to capture some estate agents and make them joust.
That's a good one.
Just like, because in London a lot of them are already equipped with minis, quite small cars, so you could probably get two of them in, and it would just be quite nice to have them lean out the window and just joust, just drive at each other at speed, in tears, wondering where their jobs have gone.
Not strictly a night in, though, is it? That's a night out.
Well, no, you'd have to go out to get them.
Yeah, well, you've blown that question.
Once they're in...
Marcus, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Where'd you get your shovel for the digging, for the project, for the centre of the...
I dig through me sitting room floor. Rhod.
Are you going to be this hostile to me?
Oh, of course I'm hostile. No, I tell you what. We're having a really lovely time. We've all got together and we're having a really nice time. We're all getting on well, aren't we?
A lovely chat about...
Shut up, I'm talking! Oh. Rhod, what do you do for a night out?
The question was for a really good night. I think nights in are overrated. I mean, most of our life is spent nights. So most people go out once a week, so that's 6 nights in a week, which is about 300 days in a year. I'm 40 years old, so that's 12,500 days in. 12,500 nights in I've had, roughly. And I can remember 3 of them. So I'm not that bothered. A night's in overrated, I say.
Well, they're quite right. Let's move on to the next question. And it's from the woman there with 17 legs.
Hi, my name's Dodie, and does the team have a positive builder's story?
Does the team have a positive builder story? Well, I wanted some tiles replacing recently, so I rang up BT. Is that how you ring up? You know when you ring it, you ring that number, and I said I'm looking for roofers. The next thing I knew, Rufus Wainwright turned up. I sent him round. Rufus Wainwright. Yeah. He turned up. I said, I'm so sorry, Rufus. I was looking for roofers, but whilst you're here, would you mind getting on the roof and sorting me tiling out? And I tell you what, he did a really good job and very reasonably priced.
Very good.
It's quite camp, your roof now, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very camp roof. Marcus, do you have trouble with builders, or have you thoroughly enjoyed their company?
I have generally, yeah. I've had a theory for a while that the better quality biscuits and or pastries that you furnish your builders with, the more efficiently they will work.
That's true.
And I think that is basically true, but I explained it to a builder who was doing some work for me, and that was a bad idea. That was a bad thing to do. And I don't know, I think ultimately he liked me because he stayed for ages with his whole team. And I like to think they were staying for the biscuits. Stayed for about a year and a half. Just came to replumb a sink.
Yeah.
Is it that association with builders and biscuits?
It's a strong one.
It's a very strong one.
You can't downplay
but
that.
You can't get them to eat some of the cakes I make. Noddy.
Well, my most positive builder was Bob the Builder. I was actually in a movie with Bob the Builder. I was in his first full-length movie.
He's animated.
I was in the movie. I was animated too, but somebody had to do the voice. I
see. You did the voice.
Who did you play?
I played a guy called Banger. Me...
Banger?
Banger.
Yeah.
I was a roadie for a band, and the band contained Elton John, under his real name of Reg, and Chris Evans and a couple of other people, and I was the roadie Banger.
Right.
And the lady mayoress of the town where Bob lives was played by Alison Steadman, and she fell madly in love with me. We had an
What, really?
Yes, we had an on-screen affair.
Lisa, you must have had lots of dealings with builders in your time.
I have. I quite like a bit of DIY myself. I'm fairly knowledgeable on what I think they ought to be doing, and I've got this slightly headmistressy attitude with them that actually, workmen do respond quite well to.
I bet they do, don't they?
I'll give them a good Friday tea as if they're at a kid's party.
A good what, Friday?
Friday tea.
Friday tea? What, fish and chips?
Not for the rest of the week. No, we'll get, party food and quiche and bums and cake.
What sort of builders have you got?
Comprehensive.
Wow.
I've got one cracking...
Where do you get your builders from? The Royal Ballet?
I'm not telling you. But the long and the short, is there always something wrong? Yes, there is. Because unless it's your own home, you're not going to do it properly, are you, really?
I don't know, do you think you could bend a downpipe straight?
Oh, yeah.
I could imagine you could.
Yeah.
Rhod, do you live anywhere, or is it...
I don't think I've had as many builders in as Lisa has.
I don't imagine you can live in a house. You look like you might live in, under a bridge or in a ditch.
I haven't really. You're quite right. I haven't really got any. I haven't got any builders story. I do like the way I was walking past a building site the other day, and they've got like a plaque thing attached to the scaffold, and it says "Consider it Builders Scheme," which basically means they don't sexually harass women as they walk past. I think, does it? Which seems a bit of an odd thing to pat yourself on the back about, just not doing something that's fairly offensive in the first place.
Let's have the next question from the strippergram bloke there with the flannel.
My name's Dawn, and does the team enjoy flying?
Thank you, Dawn. Does the team enjoy flying? Can you fly? It's a question that we've all been asked before and all denied. Noddy, do you fly around your environs in a kind of solar-powered walnut or something? Or do you just use your arms, as we all do?
Well, I used to fly when I was on the road. I flew every day, probably, for over 20 years, sometimes 2 flights a day.
Every day?
Near enough every day.
So you're going from Wolverhampton to Birmingham? I demand another plane.
And we
Where's
had
my
a,
helicopter?
we had a few scary ones, because when you're flying that much, you're bound to get... The law of averages, you're bound to get a few scary ones. So quite often we had a pressure drop where we'd go from 35,000 feet down to 3,000 feet. That happened quite regular. We had one where we took off the runway, just gaining up into the sky, and the door flew off the plane. And they brought the plane back down on the runway. One of the guys got out, one of the stewards got out, got the door off the runway, brought it back, and they hammered it on with nails, and we took off again. And the worst one, probably one of the worst ones we ever had, was we took off and we were flying from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And as we were coming into land to San Francisco, the wheels wouldn't come down on the plane. So they had to turn round to go back to Los Angeles. And so we knew we'd got another hour's flight, and we knew we were going to crash at the other end. That was so scary. So that sort of put me off flying. I still fly, but I wouldn't say I enjoy it.
Some tales from the early days of flight.
Why did they...
Who was the first person to fly? Was it old cock and balls? Was that what they were called?
Yeah.
Why did they turn round? They couldn't get the wheels out.
They had to go to a runway that went out to sea, and that if they used to bring the planes down in the sea in those days, because then the planes wouldn't break up so easily, and all the fire engines could go out on the runway, and all the pipes could go out to sea.
You said they used to always bring the planes down in the sea in them days.
If they got to make a crash landing.
Where were you doing these gigs at? Atlantis.
If they got to make it.
Rhod, do you like flying?
No, I hate it. I hate it because I'm not as rich as you guys. I have to fly economy, and they jam you in. I hate it. I get really, really annoyed that they jam you in so tightly and then give you those exercises to do, to avoid deep vein thrombosis. And I think if you've packed me in so tightly that I need to exercise to avoid dying in the next 2 hours, maybe I haven't got quite enough room in the first place.
There's a lot of tight packaging going in there these days. Yeah. Marcus, what about you? Do you like flying?
I don't. To be honest, I only ever go on a plane for the food, to be honest. I hate the whole experience. It's so grim now. Airports are horrible. The moment you get there, all questions and being poked and prodded, and then through a machine, and then, taking most of your clothes off, and then they make you go back through and pick up all your clothes and stuff.
I know what it's like, yeah.
And then your shoes have to come off, and then you find you're in a sort of overlit strip mall full of crap you don't need. No, I don't like it. That wasn't funny. I'm just genuinely annoyed.
No, I'm with you.
Thinking about those stupid empty flights that they filled with
Have you been on Eurostar?
Yes. It's
terrific,
delightful.
Isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic.
That's a train.
I know.
Yeah. And, Vic, a successful
Will it
tunnel.
ever fly? Will they ever put wings on it?
In our minds,
On the French side, they've tried.
Because they could do. Lisa.
Yes.
You must fly constantly.
I'm not keen on... there's bits of the flight that I don't like very much, but I think you're cutting your nose off to spite your face if you turn your back on flight. Do you know what I mean? I've never been to India. I really want to go.
I'd like to go to India.
Should we go, Nod?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, actually, let's work something out off the back of this.
I'd like to go as well. Can I come with you?
Come on, then.
Can we go in my
else
van?
like to come to India? Yeah!
Let's go in my van, Noddy.
Right.
I've got a lovely old 1975 Transit.
Can it fly?
You two can get in the back. I don't mind what you get up to. Right, I think we've covered flight.
Lovely.
Let's move on to the next question. Who's it? It's... Dr. Death. There.
My name's Emily. Does the team prefer town or country?
Well, does the team prefer town or country? Don't know. If you ask me...
I straddle it like a colossus.
Do you?
In my mind, I should be living in the country, but I'm frightened that I'd be bored out of my head if I was there. It's the good lifetime. I'm at that area where I think I should have a veg plot and chickens and a pig. And actually, if I look around me, I've got all of those things.
What a lovely delivery.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You'll always find me way out in the country. Where the air is good. And the day's fine and the pretty girl's got a hand in mine. Rhod, do you live in the country? Do you live in the valleys?
Well,
Where are you from, Rhod, anyway?
I'm originally from a little place called Carmarthen in south-west Wales.
Oh, well, that's a town, isn't it?
It's a town. Well, you say straddle town and country, you see, and our house in Carmarthen was the last house on the town boundary, and beyond our house was miles and miles of rolling, beautiful hills and fields. And my dad, who had terrible eyesight from the age of 4, really, really short, he had never seen out of the window from inside the house. Yeah, that's right, you laugh at my dad there. 75, he's never heard a fly, you laugh at him, that's the way. He'd never seen out of the house, he'd never seen through a window to the outside, and we had all these miles and miles of beautiful rolling hills.
What do you mean he'd never seen out of the window?
He'd never seen outside a house from inside a house in his life.
Wait a minute, let's try and think about it.
He was so short-sighted, he couldn't see his hands in front of his face, even if they were in front of his face.
You didn't say he was short-sighted before.
I did.
We just thought he was short.
I said he was short-sighted, didn't I?
So
I did.
I can't see if he's that short-sighted. He couldn't look out of his window, but he could look in.
No, he couldn't look. Look, he couldn't see inside a house from outside either. But this
He
story,
just couldn't look.
I know, but if his big problem in life is he wouldn't be able to look through other people's windows, then this would be a different story, wouldn't it? The story is a very different man that we're talking about. We're talking about a man who is simply sitting in his own house, would love to look out of the window to see the lovely rolling hills, but couldn't see outside. His vision was so limited.
Did you ever consider getting a magnifying window pane put in so that not only could he see the hills, but for anyone looking in, his face would look massive?
Massive, yeah.
Can we stop focusing on people looking into my house?
Fantastic.
Say, look at this giant in this cottage.
Have you been past the last house in the town? There's a fella in there with the most massive face.
Yeah.
I don't share your enthusiasm for having people looking through our windows, right? All I'm saying is, what happened was he then had corrective Shut up! He then had corrective laser surgery when he was about 65. But unfortunately,
could he see any better?
Wait. Yes, he could, but by the time he could see out of the window from inside the house...
The windows were dirty?
No.
They'd built on it.
They had built a housing estate up to within a yard. So there's now a fence 1 yard from the window, and that's all he's ever seen.
He waited too long then.
So that magnifying glass, he could have lain on the carpet, and when the sun was just right, it could have done the laser surgery.
Yeah.
For him, just burnt his retina away.
Correct.
And cement.
So he never actually saw the countryside.
So he never saw the countryside. He can now look out at the creosoted fence 1 yard away.
Did you ever suggest that he might walk for a bit and then have a look around the edge of the housing estate?
So he thinks the big wide world's just a creosote fence now, then, does
Listen, this is just a little story, everyone, right?
But it's turned into a big event.
About how... my answer is I prefer the country because of that.
Well, you should look after your father better.
Noddy, where do you live? In the town or the country?
I used to live in the country, and now I live back in the town again. So I did it the other way around, because most people live in the town and move out to the country.
What, you mean you were raised in the country?
Well, yes, in my late middle years I was in the country, but I got fed up because all you see in the country is animals having it away. They're everywhere, and it's just they have it away all the time.
Well, you should have had your eyes lasered in the other direction.
You don't want to see it every day.
Hang on a minute, Noddy, I've lived in the country for all my life. Yeah. And I've never seen an animal having it away.
You've never?
Never.
All the animals...
Actually, I have once.
All the animals that lived by me, they were always having it away.
Really?
Yeah.
Must have been a very randy part of Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Marcus.
It's something in the water in Wolverhampton. We're all like that.
Of course, Wolverhampton really is right in the middle of the country, isn't it? Marcus, where do you live?
I live in the town, but I love the country. I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it? Trees and farmland and sweet-natured casual racism. Just beautiful. It's nice.
I really don't know what he's talking about. Let's move on to the next question from the Nighthawk.
Hello, my name is Matthew. Does the team believe in Valentine's Day?
Does the team believe in Valentine's Day? Well, it exists, so I suppose we have to believe in it. Lisa, do you receive floral tributes from men, or maybe floral Trilbies.
Yeah, of course, every now and then you're lucky enough, and that's when you believe in Valentine's Day, isn't it? Because you've got a couple of cards. Although, I must admit, I've been quite religious about making sure that my nephew and niece get them off of Mr. X every year. Obviously, the gas's blown now, with my left hand.
Sounds like a Bond villain.
Your nephew and your niece get one from Mr. X.
Same
Bi-curious Mr.
Is that
X.
not just a little bit sinister?
I just didn't think of it like that.
What about if it was Dr. X? You might get more...
I hadn't considered that I might have been terrifying them for 17 years.
Of course you have been.
Oh,
17 years?
God, I'm sorry.
Rod, do you get Valentine's cards?
Do I get Valentine's cards
do you
from
send
Bi-curious Dr. X?
Do you stalk anyone?
Why not? Well, we don't
You
really
look like you might stalk someone.
We have our own Valentine's Day. We have
Who
our
does?
own Santes Dwynwen in Wales.
What was that? Say that again?
Santes Dwynwen.
Lovely.
Yeah. Dwynwen was the one of 25 daughters of a guy called Brychan somebody. And she was very beautiful, and she wanted to marry a guy called Mylon, and her dad wasn't having it, so she did as all people did in 400 odd AD. She ran off into the forest. No idea what happened then for a while. Then
Your dad certainly couldn't see her.
Then she went to become a hypocritical nun in Anglesey.
Oh, really?
She did. She became a nun in Anglesey, and is a pilgrimage to a well at Dwynwen, the Llan Dwynwen, which is the church of Dwynwen, and in the well there are said to be eels that can predict whether a relationship will be successful or not.
Can they talk?
Oh, you Welsh.
I don't know how they do it.
When will these stories of wells and eels ever end? And men called nylon, for goodness sake. Noddy, you look like a romantic kind of guy.
I do send cards, but I never send flowers or chocolates or anything like that. I'll never spend money on that on Valentine's Day. But I buy the cards and I write poems in the cards and things like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But no, Lisa, being a woman,
Yeah.
would you appreciate if I sent you chocolates or flowers, or would you prefer, as I know you love them, pork chops?
I'll be absolutely honest with you, I'll take the chop every time.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, I don't
so
want
why
none
don't
of your
men be a little bit
over-expenses.
more adventurous and send a woman some pork chops?
Send them some meat in the post.
Yeah, well, yeah, with I love you written on indelible pen on the chop.
That's where I'm going to have a problem, I think. You could just do a little note. I don't mind if it runs with the pen because it's attached to the chop, but I don't want you to write on the flesh of the pig.
And not type on it, or maybe use stickers.
Typing would be good.
Typing on the pork chop.
It'd be good when you grill the chop. If you could write on something, then "I love you" comes through as it grills. It's
What would you be serving with that?
be
Just
good.
chips and peas?
Do you know what? Clinton's cards have a word with Noddy
you could have
Holder.
the chips in a heart, couldn't
Oh, Nod.
Wouldn't that be lovely? You see, who's the most romantic character on this panel here?
Me.
Noddy Holder,
Yeah.
with his pork chops that reveal messages.
Well, do you know where Valentine's Day came from? That the Romans actually executed Saint Valentine. They set fire to him, and while he was waiting, he was in prison, and while he was waiting in prison to be executed, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. And when they actually executed him on February the 14th, and he left a message to the jailer's daughter saying, "I love you, Valentine." That's where
And your
Valentine's Day
pork
came
chops
from.
are in the oven. Thank you for that lovely story. Marcus, are you romantic?
No, not really.
Right, let's move on then.
I got a card from my wife a couple of years ago saying, "Roses are red, violets are blue, you gave me neither, I'm shagging your brother."
Is that true?
No.
Of course it's not. We'll move on to the final question of the night, which is my own personal question, and it is this. If I put an octopus on my wife's face whilst she was sleeping, does the team think that I would still have her respect in the morning? Lisa, you're a woman.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
That would terrify the life out of me.
Would, if you
Yeah.
woke up with an octopus?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't do it?
I think the whole feel of it is just wrong on the romance front. I don't think
So
Nancy's
she
going to
wouldn't.
like that.
She wouldn't like that for Valentine's Day.
Well, for Valentine's Day, you see, you
I mean,
could
that's what I
add
was-
something.
It's something special for
Yeah, isn't
Valentine's
it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But you don't think she'd wake up and think, oh, that's nice?
Oh, that feels lovely.
Yeah, maybe octopuses give off something that, you know, makes the skin very healthy.
I doubt it. It'd probably suffocate her, but...
Yeah.
They have quite a sharp beak on them, an octopus. It's got quite a sharp beak.
Yeah.
So you might have to train
You're
it.
thinking of a parrot.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I have a feeling she would wake up and immediately call you a squidiot, and you'd both...
Hey, get
You'd
in,
just
eh?
laugh for hours.
A squidiot.
Yeah, you are a
What do you think I should do, Nod?
I think you should forget it. I don't think Nancy's going to be very happy
She won't be
waking up
happy?
to an octopus with all them legs around her face.
What about a squid?
Squid, maybe. Maybe you get away with a squid.
Baby squid.
Yeah.
A squid could change colour and take the shape of her face.
No, octopuses do that, don't they? They take the texture. She probably wouldn't know she got it on. She'd probably look in the mirror, because they do. They adapt. I'm going to leave that there, I think.
I'm going to give her your address.
You romantic,
So
you.
if I put it on, we wouldn't know that it was there.
It's just a theory. Don't look at me like that. You put the bloody octopus on her face.
I haven't done it yet.
All right.
Well, I think we've probably come to the end of our questioning tonight. Lads and lasses, I sincerely hope that you've gathered enough evidence from tonight's debate to have the magnet works closed down for good. I know I have. Good night.